that is the Argentine crest. It's very finely engraved, but you can see there's a sun rising on the top and clasped hands on the bottom. The explanation of this is really involved. I read it, what all this means, but the clasped hands turns up over and over again on the gun. And it's supposed to be a symbol of the fraternal brotherhood of mankind in countries or some such thing. The one thing about it, most of them were ground off, because when they sold off these guns, when Argentina did, they had ran into a problem where one of the neighboring countries that bought them was getting up to mischief with them, and they just didn't like the idea of their symbol being on them. So they made it a policy that whenever they sold them off, they ground that symbol off. I don't know how this one escaped it, but this one has got the symbol on it yet. Okay, now in front of that symbol, there are two other symbols, and I'm not really sure what they mean. Like the other, it looks like the top one looks like two superimposed letters, but I have no idea what this could mean. I've done some researching on this, but a lot of this stuff is pretty vague. Now those same superimposed letters turn up on the side of the gun. And I'm just really not sure what they mean. One of them looks like a B, but what the other one would be, I really don't know. I'll find out eventually, but okay, that's where the model, Mauser Modello Argentino, 1891, Low Berlin. But then, okay, if you go back, this is the bolt release. Now there's a symbol there that it looks like either a horn or a stocking cap of some kind. And what this means, I don't know. It turns up in other places on the gun too. But also on this spring, which is for the bolt release, there's a symbol that almost looks like a bird flying. I don't know what that means. Right there you can see on the trigger itself is again that clasped hand symbol. Okay, and up on the bottom of the front sight is that, what I say looks like a stocking cap or a horn. I don't, it's a puzzle to me, but it really looks like a stocking cap. That symbol is there again. Okay, on the body of the bolt, there is, again, that clasped hand symbol. Okay, and on the tab on the very front of the trigger guard is that stocking cap or horn, whatever it is, it's there again. Okay, also on the very front of the magazine, on the little pivot tab, that stocking cap turns up again. Okay, now on the base of the rear sight, that clasped hand symbol is there, but it's not real evident. It's stamped in on a curve, so it doesn't show as clear. But I can tell by all the little fingers showing that that's what it is again. Okay, cartridge wise. Okay, this is my 32 Special Winchester, which is like a 30-30. And you can see, it's a rimless case, a little bit longer, much higher, the shoulders higher up. This is a Mauser Cavalry 7.62 by 54. And you can see there again, the shoulders much lower down. But like I say, these cases could be made out of 270 or 30-06 just by shortening them. And I think you do push the shoulder down a little on those. But interesting cartridge, you know, way ahead of its time again, you know, being rimless. And now the magazine, you know, they're made to be loaded in the gun, but what there is actually two like spring steel lips, and you just simply push them down and they snap in there, and they're held into position, and then it feeds them. That's why when I was trying to feed a flat nose modified from a different bullet, they would actually, their nose would catch on there, but these round nose will slide right out of there. You know, one of the first guns that used this kind of a mechanism, they were, like I say, way ahead of their time, because they went from Remington rolling blocks right to these. And you're going from a single shot to what is really a very rapid fire weapon and made to feed with stripper clips. You can see in the, there's a groove here and a notch where a stripper clip actually fits in. Like I said, way ahead of their time. But at that time, your military was judged, or your country was judged, by the quality of the weapons of your military. And for a while there, Argentina was top dog. Okay, numbers wise, all the numbers on this match. The only thing I have noticed, you know, even a magazine is numbered, the bolt is numbered, you know, and this has got the turn down bolt because it's the cavalry carbine. But I have seen in pictures some where the stock has got the number stamped in right here. Now, this one, the stock isn't stamped there, but it's scratched inside in two different places, the number, that is the serial number. And also this one, like I say, this is the cavalry carbine, so this has got that saddle boot tie loop right here, whereas all of the other ones had either a sling way back or up on the side. And I've seen pictures of other ones where they've used those stocks and converted them for this, and then you'll see where the wood is filled in the old stock places. This is an original cavalry stock. Okay, and reading up on these, you know, you run into, well, like I say, there's some misinformation. So I'm trying to not give out any misinformation. Oh, I see here on the, again, on the back of the bolt on the safety is that clasp hand emblem again. You know, that's really all over the place. And there is the serial number, and then there's a star also on the bolt. I don't know what the star means. A lot of questions about these. But, you know, you just look at the parts, and I mean, everything is very finely machined and just elegant. The barrel itself, it's a 17-inch barrel. So this is a carbine, a very short carbine. You know, I've seen pistols that long. Okay, the action, it's actually held together. You know, bottom, there's one screw in front. Then there's a block here that is actually notched in where it goes. Then there's a one screw in the back, but the screw in the back actually has a pillar built into the stock that it screws down tight to. Then the magazine, there's a catch here, a small button you have to push in there to release it, but it actually clicks in, and then this screw in the front has got a kind of a wedge to it, and you just turn it and that locks the magazine in place, because it's really not meant to, you know, remove the magazine and then load it and then stick it in. It's meant to be loaded in the gun, but this way for cleaning it and working on it, you can take the magazine out. But very solid mechanism when it goes in there. And then, like I say, to load it, you just drop them in, you know, and they pop right into the spot. Very slick working operation. Well, and that somebody asked about is the action as smooth as it seems to be? And yes, it is. It's a very smooth action, very easy working action. Really quite impressive. Okay, one other thing worth mentioning. Right on the back of the stock, on the inside, there's 3 parallel grooves cut in there. They're notches, and you can see they were done. They're not a scratch. They're more of a nick when you take a knife and go like that. So I suspect somebody was keeping score. It's got a nice steel butt plate, you know, fairly wide, that actually wraps around the top. You know, everything fits so nicely. Well, the mail came. So we'll see what we got. Now this guy that sells parts for these is actually out of Maine. So I was afraid how long it would take, but actually it was 3 days. Then we actually got 2 parts. Hopefully we got 2 parts. A tiny little troublesome handguard. And one of the original brass muzzle caps. Because, you know, over the sight, on the end of the muzzle goes this part. Now this cap is made to clip over the end of the muzzle to protect you from getting crap in the barrel. And, you know, it is made in such a way that you couldn't see the sights with it on, so you wouldn't be shooting with the cap in place. But I thought that'd be kind of nice to have. Well, I can get the pliers and put her together. I would say the price was $30 for the handguard, $24 for this little muzzle cap. So it's not something you want to lose. But I thought, you know, I can go that. Nice to have. The company is Liberty Tree Collectors, but I'll put that in the description too. Carries a lot of parts for these old Mausers. Well, a lot of other old guns too. You know, this thing is held on with 20 gauge copper wire. I researched this before I got the wire. And it goes around there, and it is, you know, you couldn't go any bigger. Yeah, it's an interesting way of doing it. But their long rifles actually held on the same way. But I saw they have grooves in the lower stock that the twist part goes into. This has actually just got kind of holes where they go in. But there's grooves in the lower stock too. You can see the wire grooves, and what I said about the holes in the bottom there where the twist part goes. And, you know, I've never seen this on any other kind of gun, but this evidently works. But it wouldn't surprise me that people lose their hand guards. No, it seems to go on there. And then I think when you put it in the stock, it would actually push a little more and pinch. But it really can't go anywhere. But I'll get this trimmed and stuck back together. And there she is. complete. That's an interesting idea. Probably save you from getting crap in your barrel, like in winter and mud. But like I say, you would never be able to shoot it. I mean, if you pulled it up, you would see right away that you can't see the sight. But I can see where you could lose these too. But at least I have one now. Beautiful little gun though. Very glad I found it. Glad I was able to get the handguard though. It's nice to have it complete. And that copper wire method is new to me, but you know, it seems to work. All it's really there for is to keep you from burning your hands. The safety on them is kind of handy. It's on safe when it's over here. It's off safe when it's over here. But, you know, big safety and an easy to manipulate spot. So there you have it. '1891 Argentine Mauser. And by the serial number, this is 1891 or at the latest 1892 because it starts with an A. And they went through the years, they went up in the alphabet. But I'll take her out this afternoon and do some shooting. The thing I find really humorous about this, according to the ATF, this is not a firearm. Too old. You walk down the street and they'd say, "What are you doing with that firearm?" "What? This old thing?" No, not a gun. I was reading an interesting article about them and was saying, you know, trying to decide, was this the last of the antique guns or the first of the modern guns? And to me, that's a thoroughly modern gun.